Yes, sir.
Last class, we have started discussing about the integrity and security issues. There we have already talked about the domain constraints, referential integrity constraints. Then we have talked about the triggers. Okay. Now today we will be discussing about the security issues. Security. The security issues in security, the protection, the database security issue actually meant for protecting from the malicious attempts to steal or modify the data. Database system level authentications for securities are to the authentication and authorization mechanisms to allow specific users to access only to the required data and disallow the unauthorized access. And we concentrate to authorization in the rest of this unit. Operating system level security guarantees super users can do anything they want to the database. Good operating system level security is also required. Now required network level security may be also there. We must encrypt the data. That means the that to protect the data from unauthorized reading of the messages, or pretending to be an authorized user or sending messages supposedly from the authorized users. So message can be sent from the authorized users only, and message can be read by the only authorized users. This can be done by encryption mechanisms in the network level security. Then physical level security also can be there by traditional way of having the lock and key system in the uh, computer. Computer must also be protected from the floods, fire, etc. So human level security also may be present, users must be screened to ensure that authorized users only are permitted. Users should be trained on password selection and security. So now authorization, forms of authorizations on part of the database. The earlier authorization policies are not directly part of the database. The authorization policies which can be adopted for database are as follows. The read authorization, allowing reading but not modifying of the data, means you can only read the data item but you cannot modify the data. The insert authorization can be also there, like for example that allows insert authorization allows insertion of the new data but do not allow any modification of the existing data. Then update authorization allows modification of the data but do not allow to delete any data. Then delete authorization also may be there in the database that allows deletion of the data. So this type of authorizations may be there in a database system. Now forms of authorizations to modify the database schema are as follows. That index authorization, which allows the creation and deletion of the indices. Resource authorization allows the creation of new relations. Alteration authorization allows addition or deletion of attributes in a relation. And drop authorization allows deletion of relations. So these are the authorizations. Now authorization and views. So user can be given authorization on views. So without being given an authorization on the relations used in the view definition. So view is a kind of the snapshot of the overall system, which only allows to have an idea about the database, but do not allow directly to access the data. So the authorization also can be granted to the views, but not to the relation. Ability of views to handle the data serves both simplify usage of the system and to enhance the security by allowing users access only to data they need for their job. A combination of relational level security and view level security can be used to limit users access to precisely the data that users need. I'll be coming to the view, how we can implement the view in database. Suppose a bank clerk needs to know the names of the customers of each branch, but that clerk is not authorized to see the specific loan information. So the approach can be to deny the access to the loan relation, but grant access to view. The view name can be there, that cast loan, let's say the view name can be cast loan, which consists only the cast means customer loan, which consists only the names of the customers and branches at which they have a loan. So view is a kind of actually the snapshot of the data item. Okay, so create view, then followed by the syntax is in SQL is like this: create view, then view name. This is the view name. Cast loan is the view name. So create view name as, then what type of view would like to have. So select branch name, customer name, where from you would like to have the view, means where from you'd like to have the snapshot of the data items. So here we are interested to look at the customers who have taken loan and their corresponding branch name. So therefore we have considered that select branch name and customer name from the two relations, two pertinent or two respective relations are the borrower and loan, where borrower.loan number equal to loan.loan number. At this point, I'd like to draw your attention that by creating this view, that system is allowing the clerk only to view the record of the customers and corresponding branch name, customers who have taken the loan, but the clerk is not authorized to get the details of how much loan that particular customer has taken. Okay, so view only gives a snapshot of the limited portion of the data which is being allowed to a particular set of users. Here the clerk is booking clerk or banking clerk is an employee who is only authorized to view a particular portion of the data, not the whole data itself. Okay, because of the security reason. Therefore, view is created. Similar, so creation of the view syntax is in SQL: create view followed by the view name. It can be user defined, whatever view name you would like to have, you can set that as, then the definition of the view, like what you would like to view. So select branch name, customer name from borrower loan, where borrower.loan number equal to loan.loan number. Here you can understand that with this view, the clerk only can view the branch name and customer name, nothing else. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, some more examples of the view. The clerk is authorized to see the results. Now, how to view the results? So, create view is command. Create view is the command to create the view. Now, how to view the record? That what view is created? How to see that? That clerk will see by performing this command: select star from cast loan. Cast loan is the name of the view. So view name is the the view name is cast loan here. So if the select star from cast loan is given, then the clerk will only can view the result. View the result in terms of the definition. Accordingly, the clerk can view the details like branch name and customer name only. When a query processor translates the results into a query on the actual relations in the database, we obtain a query on the borrower and loan. Now, authorization must be checked on the clerk's query before the query processing takes place, and a view of the definition is granted. Okay. Now, creation of views does not require resource authorization, since no real relation is being created in this case. So here it's worthy to note that by creating a view, you are not creating any relation. So therefore, no resource authorization is done here. Only some portion of the data which is already existing is being fetched. Okay. The creator of the view, means who is creating this particular view for some purpose, that creator only gets those privileges that provided to that particular user. Means the creator of the view will get the privilege of having all the authorizations which is assigned to that creator. So that is, for example, if creator of a view cast loan had only the read authorization, so suppose a particular user, let's say bank, some officer has created that view. So bank officer has the authorization to read that data only. So read authorization will be also be permitted to the view. Read authorization on the borrower and loan. He gets only the read authorization, but not the update or modify or delete authorization. Okay, any other authorization is granted. So the summary is that the creator of the view will have the privilege which is being granted to that creator for creating the view. So that means the creator which is the privileges which creator has can only be transmitted to the view, nothing else. Okay, not more than that. Okay. So now granting privilege. I was talking about the privileges what the creator is having, and now how this grant can be transmitted to the other users, that we'll be discussing now. That the passage of authorization or granting of privileges from one user to another may be done, may be understood by the authorization graph as shown in this figure. The nodes of this graph represents the user, respective user. For example, here, this is one node, this is another node, and so on. So first node, the root node can be thought of the DBA, database administrator, and the other nodes are the user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, user 5, etc. So DBA can be thought of the super user who can assign a particular authorization to the other users. So here the arrow indicates that DBA has assigned some privileges to U1, and also U1 has assigned some privileges to U4. But note that whatever authorizations U1 have, U1 can at maximum can transmit those authorizations to U4, not any other authorization. That means suppose DBA has authorized U1 to read the data item, and U1 means view the data item. So U1 can transmit that privilege to U4 if DBA allows that. Nothing more than that. If DBA has not allowed U1 to modify the have not assigned the modification authorization or modification privilege, then U1 also cannot transmit that modification privilege to U4. And moreover, what authorization is allowed by the DBA to the successive user U1, that privilegation can be allowed to the subsequent user U4 or U5 if DBA allows that. So this graph denotes that DBA has granted some authorization to U1, then U1 has granted some authorization to U4. Similarly, U1 has authorized some privilege to U5. DBA has given some authorization to U2, and U2 has given some authorization to U5. DBA has given some authorization to U3. Let's consider that update authorization is given by the DBA to the U1, and that is being forwarded to U4 through U1, and also through to U5 via U1, and also DBA has granted update of privilege to U2 as well as U3, and U2 has given that authorization, that means update authorization, to U5. Now, what can happen is that suppose if DBA withdraws that authorization from U1, okay, please listen me carefully. If DBA has withdrawn that privileges from U1, that means that privilege means the update privilege from U1, then by default, the authorization which is being assigned to the U4 through U1 will also be withdrawn. Means because DBA has withdrawn the privilege, granting privilege from U1, therefore the granting privilege assigned to U4 through U1 also will be withdrawn. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
If you do not get me at any point, please feel free to interrupt me. I'll be happy to clear your doubt. Suppose DBA has withdrawn the granting privilege from, the update privilege from U1. Then what will happen? But not to U2 and not to U3. Then what will happen? That that U1, this arrow will no more be there. This arrow DBA to U1 will no more be there, because this is a granting of update authorization granted from DBA to U1 and from U1 to U4, that update authorization. Now, if DBA withdraws that update authorization from U1, then this arrow will be removed. Hence, as soon as this U1 authorization is removed by the DBA, then and there the authorizations granted to the U4 also will be removed, and therefore this arrow will also be removed. However, the authorization that U5 had through U1 will be deleted, will be removed, but U5 will still be there. Why? Because U5 will still be there. Only this arrow will be removed. This arrow will be removed. Okay, this arrow will be removed. Why? Why? Because this arrow was granted through U1, and U1 does not exist more. Okay, no more exist, because that arrow DBA to U1 is removed, since DBA has withdrawn the privilege of update operations to U1. Therefore, U1 to U5 will be deleted. However, U5 will still exist, because there is an alternative path to reach to U5 from DBA, because DBA has not withdrawn the privileges from U2. Okay, so U5 can still have that update privilege through U2. Are you getting my point? As long as the privilege is still there to U2, this U5 will be there, but this arrow will be deleted. Is this clear? U1 to U5 will be deleted. I hope it is very clear. It's very understandable.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
May I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So that's what I have talked about in the previous slide, is described here. If DBA revokes the grant from U1, revokes means the withdraws the grant from U1, then what will happen? That U4 will immediately will be withdrawn, and this arrow will also be withdrawn, but U5 will still be there, because there is a alternative path to U2. That's what is written. Grants must not be revoked from U5, since U5 has another authorization path from DBA through U2. Okay, so you must prevent cycles of the graph. Means in this type of graph, there should not be any cycle. Why? Because this sort of privilege graph should not have any cycle, because that means that if there is a cycle, that indicates that U1 is granting privilege to, let's say, U5, let's say U4, let's say, then U5 has assigned some privilege to U5. Then again, if the direction of the arrow is like this, what will happen? Just look at it. What is happening here?
Cycle.
Cycle, yes. Cycle means what is the problem in this cycle? Can anybody tell me? What is the problem if there is a cycle? What is the problem? What is the problem the database will suffer? That means that some privileges U1 have that is being assigned to U4. U4 has assigned that privilege or subset of that to U5. Okay. And U5 has assigned that privilege or subset of that to U1. Okay. That means, are you getting my point? That means,
Sir,
on the other hand, U1 is assigned some privilege to U5, and on the other hand, on the one hand, U1 is assigned some privileges to U5, and on the other hand, U5, that means by which U5 is created, and on the other hand, U5 is granting some privileges. Let's say there is no arrow. Okay, and U5 is granting some privileges to U1, which is not possible actually. Okay, why it is not possible? Because the child node cannot create the previous node, right? Can it create? It cannot create. So these arrows are created by assigning some privileges from its previous, users. Okay, so user 1 has granted some privileges to U4, and U4 has granted some of the privileges or subset of that privileges what U4 has to U5, and U5 has assigned some of the privileges which U5 has, then again assigned to U1. So effectively, this is an invalid statement. Therefore, there should not be any cycle. Is it clear?
Sir.
Okay. Now, what is the command for granting these privileges in SQL? So the grant statement is used to confer authorization by this following command. So grant, then followed by the privilege list. Okay, whether on relation names or view name. Okay, on that grant is assigned to the relation name or view name to the user list. Okay, user list can be specified by this following way. The user ID can be there. The public, which allows all valid users that privilege granted. A role, more on this. So a role. This can be the user list. So now granting a privilege on view does not simply imply granting any privileges on the underlying relations. The grantor of the privilege must already hold the privilege on the specified item. That means the grantee who is granting that privilege to another user must hold the grant first before assigning to it to other user. Okay, so that I already talked about it. If a particular user does not have that grant, it cannot grant that privilege to some other user. Okay. So now some more examples. Suppose grant users U1, U2, U3 select authorization on the branch relation. So what will be the command for that? Grant select on branch to the user U1, U2, U3. Okay. Here the insert privilege can be there, that the ability to insert the tuples, update privilege can be there. The ability to update using the SQL update statement. Delete privilege can be there. The ability to delete the tuples. Reference privilege also can be there, which talks about the ability to declare the foreign keys when creating relations and uses. So, so suppose, for example, here, now I was talking about that U1 has got some privileges from DBA, and then that has been forwarded to U4, right? If you go back to the previous slide, you can see that U1 has received some privileges from DBA, and that is being some of those privileges are forwarded to U4, or subset of those privileges of U1 is assigned to U4. So now how to do that? By the command. The command for that is that with grant option. Suppose grant select on branch to U1 with grant option, means whatever grant is assigned to U1 also now are allowed to grant that option to the next user, okay, to other user. So if you do not specify this grant option, okay, this grant option, what does it indicate? It indicates that the grant or privileges that is being assigned by the DBA to U1 will only be restricted up to U1. U1 cannot assign any subset grant or any grant from that to U4. Okay. So that means if you do not allow the U1 with grant option open, then U1 will only be restricted with its own privilege, but U1 cannot share that privilege to other users. Okay. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
that means grant select on branch U1 to U1 with grant option. If you do not specify that with grant option open, okay, then U1 will only be restricted with its own privilege, but it cannot share that privileges or those privileges with any other user. So this U1 that selects the privileges on branch and allows U1 to grant, and with this command, with grant option open, grant option written here, allows U1 to have that privilege and to also to share that privileges to other users. Okay. Of course, with the condition that it will not violate the cycle in the privilege graph criteria. Now coming to the roles. Okay, so roles permit common privileges for a class of users can be specified just once by creating a corresponding role. Say, for example, suppose all brand managers are assigned to certain roles. Okay, individually, suppose SBI has several branch managers, so all should have same privileges. Okay, so by a single command, create role to all manager, okay, will allow all the managers to enjoy the same privileges. Okay, privileges can be granted to or revoked from the roles, just like users. Roles can be assigned to users and even to the other roles. So create role tailor, create role manager, grant select on branch to tailor, grant update branch on account to tailor, grant all privileges on account to manager. Okay, that means with this single command, all privileges will be granted to the manager. Grant tailor to manager, grant tailor to allies and Bob. And is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Uh,
Now, revoking authorization in SQL. Suppose you have assigned a user has assigned some privilege to some users, but we like to revoke it, withdraw it. So what to do for that? The command is revoke. Revoke statement is used to revoke the authorization, revoke privilege list on certain relation or view name from certain user list. and restrict or cascade. Example is that revoke, select on branch from U1, U2, U3, cascade. Revocation of a privilege from a user may cause other users also to lose that privilege, as I mentioned. So in the earlier example, that if DBA withdraws or revokes some privileges from the user one, U1, then by default, the privileges assigned to the U4 by the U1 will also be withdrawn. Okay, we can prevent cascading by specifying restrict. Okay, means with restrict, the revoke command fails if cascading revokes are required. Okay. Now, I have only few minutes left. Okay. Up to this point, is it clear to you all?
Yes, sir.
Maybe. So just to summarize today's class, so what we have discussed. We have discussed about the security aspects of the database, the authorization. Then we have discussed about the views in SQL in connection of the database, how we can create view. Okay, what is view actually? Okay, then we have discussed about the authorization on views. Okay, then we have talked about the granting privileges assigned to user or views. Okay, granting privileges, how we can grant privileges, how we can revoke privileges. Then this privilege graph or authorization grant graph. Then we have talked about the how to grant the privileges and how to revoke the privileges. Then we have discussed about the roles also. Okay, roles of database users. Okay. That's all about today. Okay, if you have any doubt, you must ask. Is there any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, I'll be sharing the slides. As of now, I have not shared the slides of this topic. I'll be sharing the slides in the Google Classroom. Okay, the class lecture slides will be given to you in the Google Classroom. And also I'll be trying to upload my class video in my YouTube channel and share the link in Google Classroom. Okay, those who have who could not join due to some net issues, internet problem, they can view it later. Okay. Thank you for listening me. If you do not have any question, I'll be ending up the class now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.